Welcome into the kitchen. I have a recipe perfect in time for your Sunday dinner. Let's make these smothered turkey necks. They're so good, they'll make Granny proud. Now, my recipe starts here in the Instant Pot. I am taking a little cheat here, kind of, but I'm gonna start with a homemade chicken broth. Now here I have some frozen chicken parts. I keep my bones, and then I have like some extra skins and necks and backs that I didn't use on some other recipes. So I just get a bunch of chicken cartilage, and then also I have some frozen chicken feet here. Now what I found is that the chicken feet adds a layer of collagen to this that I love. Now I'm gonna get my seasoning, some black peppercorn, got some bay leaves. I'm keeping it really simple today. A good amount of salt, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get some water in here, just enough to cover those bones. And then this is where I'm gonna get my chicken broth from. Now I love doing homemade chicken broth because I get all of those added health benefits of the collagen, the minerals, but also I have to be honest, the taste is superior. Okay, so I am gonna set this on high pressure for 2 hours, and then we're gonna move on to these turkey necks. Now I have fresh turkey necks here, not the smoked ones. And then one step that you must do with these is remove that membrane. So it's kind of like if you've ever cooked ribs, the membrane on the back of the bone, you have to do the same thing with these, otherwise they will be tough and they'll take forever to cook. So I just do a slit in it with a knife and then pull that membrane across, and I'll show you again. Cut through here with the knife, and my knife is dull, as you can see, but it did get the job done. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull that off and then get them cleaned up. Now here is my seasoning blend. I have poultry seasoning, Cajun seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, and some paprika. And then I just like to mix this in. I do this with a lot of meats. I mix all of my spices together and then kind of rub it through so that I get the flavors to go throughout. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I cook for a family of 8, but of course I will leave the recipe for 4 in the description box. So just go ahead and look for that. But again, you'll see a bigger quantity here because I feed a lot of folks. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next step, which would be to sear these. I have some oil in my Dutch oven here, and I'm just gonna let these sear for a couple minutes on each side. Now, again, because I am feeding a large family, I'll go in batches here, but just get a little browning because I also want to start making my gravy. So this step is really important. It adds a lot of flavor. So now that I have that on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and scoop these out. Again, trying to leave some of that rendered fat out in the oil so that we can start creating another level of flavor here. Now I have some onions going in, and I'm just gonna let these sweat for a few minutes along with some bell pepper. And then I also have some celery here, the Trinity, of course. And as you can see, I like mine in kind of larger pieces on this, but you can dice these down if you wanted to. I kind of like to have the little bite of it at the end, even though these are gonna cook for a while, so it'll still be soft and delicious. Now I like to layer each step with some flavor, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt and pepper here. And y'all know this pepper meal is my favorite thing in the world right now. I will leave a link for it in the description as well. So here I'm just scraping up the bottom, getting them some flavor as these peppers and onions kind of sweat down a little bit to move on to the next step. Also forgot, I have just been in love with using this little garlic press. I don't know why it took me so long to get one of those, but I have noticed that the fresh garlic really does taste better. I was buying the garlic already pre-minced to save me some time, but this step is easy too, but it really does improve the flavor. So letting this go a little bit, being careful not to burn that garlic, of course. And then I am going to add some butter and some flour so that we can get started on the gravy part. I guess you could call this a small roux. I'm not gonna let it cook all the way down, just a little bit to get that flavor, get the flour taste cooked off. So now that I have that mixed in, we'll add our turkey necks back in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reach for that homemade chicken stock that we made, or homemade chicken broth. Now, if you don't have homemade, you could use store-bought at this step, or you could even use water and then just a tablespoon or 2 of some chicken bouillon. Now that I have the liquid in, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good stir around, making sure that I have the liquid in contact with the butter and the onions and bell peppers, those veggies, so that we can start to create a gravy with this. Now I got the lid on. We're gonna let it cook for 2 hours, and it comes out just like this. You are gonna love it. Look how easy it is to pull away with a fork.